Hello, everybody, and welcome back to week 2. We're still building up on that intensity this time around. You will notice that classes are starting to gradually get a little bit more difficult, or you might not. You might be a pro, or you might not even notice it. That is the goal, but I know I'm sore after some classes. So if you guys are sore, just know you're not alone. These classes will start to build in intensity. With that, just being mindful, taking care of yourself after classes, during classes, taking breaks, using modifications, trying to get enough sleep, trying to maybe stretch on your own if a muscle is sore afterwards, because we are using that muscle component as well throughout this session. This time around, today we're going to be focusing more on that movement mobility. What that means is just we're going to be focusing on functional movement types of things. Wow. That being said, it's just like managing what muscle we're using in a given flow, making sure all of our body parts are stacked the way that we are wanting them to be, we are properly oriented, and then I'll use those indicators that I usually use during class if you end up getting lost at all or need some help there as well. Again, we're still making sure we're using those modifications. So if you are feeling sore or something is hurting in the middle of class, feel free to not do what I'm showing. That is okay. I will not be offended, nor will I probably see it. So please feel free to do what you feel comfortable with and take your own breaks, make your own modifications. I will be listing modifications as well. I usually show the modification first, and then we'll go into a higher intensity movement if you think the modification is too easy for you. Today's class might run a little bit longer. I'm thinking more around the lines of like 45 minutes instead of that 40-minute range. If you do have to leave, feel free to just get up and go, sign out if you didn't sign in if you didn't sign in already. But that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Starting in a child's pose, but this time we're going to want to keep our knees closer in together. We're going to take one of our handy blocks, putting our forehead over top of it, sending our hands back into our sides. This is just to get ourselves relaxed. From here, focusing on our breathing, wiggling our fingers, wiggling our toes. Feel your forehead pressed into the block. Bring awareness into all 4 corners of your body. Expanding on your breathing here. You might try box breathing. In for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold and repeat. Letting yourself become fully relaxed. Letting go of any tension built up throughout the day. Preparing yourself for the rest of this class. Taking one more big deep breath in, we're going to send both of our arms out in front of us, grabbing onto both blocks here, stacking them up in their highest orientation. Bring the palms of your hands on top, slowly letting your chest fall forward, deeper into the mat. Finding a deep stretch through your upper thoracic area. Again, breathing through this stretch here. Slowly trying to let your chest sink further to the floor. Expanding the depth. Might try rocking side to side if you're looking for a little bit more flow. One more big deep breath in. And on your exhale, you're going to come all the way up into your kneeling position. Here, we're just going to lift our arms up, fingertips to the ceiling, looking for that length. Coming into a flow session. Exhale, bringing your elbows to 90, expanding your chest to the ceiling. Holding here, pinching a pencil between your shoulder blades. Inhale, lift. Taking those little side pulses if that feels comfortable to you. Exhale, elbows to 90. Inhale, lift. Exhale, elbows to 90, pinching those shoulder blades together. Inhale, lift. Last one, elbows to 90, really squeezing your scapula here. From here, you're going to take the palms of your hands and claw your shoulders. We're going to head straight into those little circles. Trying to increase the circumference of your circle with every turn. Going the other way now. Circling in the opposite direction. One more. Coming to a halt, bringing your fingertips to your temples. We're just going to bird wing here, stretching in front and bringing them back out again. I have no idea what this movement is called, but it reminds me of a chicken wing, so that's what we're doing. Trying to expand through your chest, squeezing your scapula every time. We're not trying to push our head down at all, gently touching our temples with our fingertips. Deep breaths in. One more time. We're now going to head into our active bends. So taking your blocks, putting them behind you, rising on your toes, if that feels comfortable. Going straight into a camel pose. What that means is we're going to be lifting all the way up. We're going to start with a half camel, reaching your left hand behind you, putting them on that block for elevated support. If you're wanting to increase the intensity, feel free to not use that block. Go all the way down to the ground. That's just going to give you a deeper stretch through your right side. But we're trying to keep that pressure off of our back. Taking one more deep breath in. Exhale, lifting back up into center. Taking those little pulses if you need. And bending all the way down to your right side now. Looking for length through your fingertips as you inhale. And sinking that stretch further down as you exhale. Remembering to breathe here. One more deep breath in, coming all the way back up to center. This time around, we're going to try to reach back with both hands. If you can't, that's okay. And we're just going to lower into a full camel. Remember, you can add height by bringing those blocks up as well. Slowly working towards sinking down. If you're looking to increase the intensity, you can also grab the back of your ankles. Really trying to expand through that chest. Deep breath in. Taking one more big deep breath. Really expanding through the chest, opening up through your heart. Exhale, coming all the way back up, finding center, hinging again at the hips. Bring hands to prayer if that feels comfortable to you. Maneuvering one block directly in front of you. Blocks are our new best friend. From here, you're just going to hinge up, lifting through your right foot, bringing it to the outside of that block. We're going to move into a hip mobility session. Some of you may remember this part from previous classes. Go ahead and just let your hips sink in a little bit here. Exhale, coming all the way down, hand to block. Just push that knee open, finding a little bit more depth through your hips. Holding here for another 15 seconds. Breathing through this stretch. Exhale, coming all the way back up to center. Either bringing your hands to prayer, wherever that feels comfortable. Lifting your foot up and trying to set it onto the block, using your hips for strength. If you can't put your foot on the block, go ahead and just lift. I'm going to do this 3 times, and then we're going to add on to it. The slower you do it, the more intense the movement becomes. One more time. This time, after we step down, we're going to step our foot all the way back, coming down, hinging. Inhale, exhale, lift, stepping back up, and stepping onto the block again. Doing that same thing all over again. If the block's difficult to use, feel free to not use it. You can always just lift. Engaging our hips, squeezing our glutes, slow and in control. Remembering to breathe. Inhale, pushing back. Exhale, lifting back up. Do this one more time. And then we'll move on to the next phase of our hip mobility movement stretch. Lifting it back up. Exhale, lowering. We're going to take this into a lunge series. That means is we're going to lift our block up, bring it up over top of our head, curling that back foot underneath of us and lifting through that right glute. This may become difficult, so feel free to put one block under your knee, because we will be lowering back down, setting that block on the ground, letting go. Remembering to breathe here, picking the block back up, lifting, pushing through that right glute, shifting to your left, rising all the way up, lowering back down. Squeezing through your core here, opening through your chest, pushing off through your left and right glute. Keeping that knee stacked over top of your ankle. For 2 more. Last one, and if you know me, you know we have a pulse. For 1, 2, 3, squeezing through that right glute. 4, 5, 6, staying up, coming all the way into that standing position, lifting. Remembering to breathe. Exhale, lowering all the way down, finding that forward fold. Still keeping that block directly in front of you. Taking a deep breath in. We're going to take a slight bend through that right knee, lifting through the left arm. Looking for length. A little bit more mobility. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift, twisting to the other side. Deep breath in. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. The block in front of you is just for more back support. Lift. Lower. 2 more times. Lift. Lower. Last one. Lift. Really trying to reach and lower. Stepping back. Again with that right leg coming all the way down. Feel free to stay in this bent position right here. We're going to use a block either to the inside of your foot. If you want to modify it and straighten that leg out, coming all the way up. Or if you'd like a deeper stretch through your hamstrings and through your hips, feel free to bend that knee. Really finding depth through your upper thoracic area here. Holding for another 10 seconds. On your exhale, lowering that arm down, stepping that foot back up, finding your forward fold position, grabbing onto that block, slowly lifting up, putting it between your knees, sending yourself all the way back into a chair pose. I'm going to stay here for an isometric hold. Deep breath in. For another 10 seconds, you got it. Squeezing your glutes, keeping your knees stacked over your feet. Squeezing your knees, squeezing the block. 3 more seconds. 2, 1, lowering down, grabbing that block. We're not done. Stepping to the outside of your mat, holding the block in front of you like a steering wheel. Go ahead and take those little heel lifts with a squat pulse, alternating. Still holding that block in front of you like a steering wheel. Quads should be burning just a little bit, trying to activate your glutes, squeezing your core, staying lifted through your shoulders. 1 more deep breath. Exhale, lifting all the way back up. Deep breath in. Lowering all the way down, forward fold. Still remembering to breathe. On your next exhale, you're going to step your right foot back, finding that lunge. Holding here, taking that deep breath. Exhale, lowering down to that knee. We're going to come into that same little movement series, this time for the left leg now, putting that block directly in front of you, coming all the way up. When you're ready, stepping up with that left leg, keeping that right hip strong. You may notice that one hip is stronger than the other. If this is too difficult for you, feel free to just lift your foot. You don't have to move it onto the block. Taking those deep breaths. Squeezing that hip. This is a balance challenge. For 1 more. Then we're going to build onto it again. Lifting all the way up. Setting that foot down. Swinging it back. Hinging low at those hips. And exhale, breathing all the way back up. Lifting it onto the block. And lower. If you can do this, you can do anything. Lifting all the way up. Lowering back down. You want to increase the intensity here. Feel free to try to do it as slow as you can. Still squeezing our glutes here, using all the muscle groups that we are intending to. Do this 1 more time. Pushing up, stepping forward, stepping onto the block, and lowering. Exhale, coming all the way down. We're going to push that left leg out. Taking a nice stretch for your hips. Holding for another 10 seconds. Really trying to sink your hips down. Exhale, lifting back up into that lunge. This time curling your right foot underneath, lifting with your hands, coming into that lunge series. Feel free to put that block under your right knee. When you're ready, squeezing through that core, lifting all the way up, pushing through that right glute, coming up, lowering back down, setting the block on the ground, squeezing through those scapula, coming back up, pushing through that left glute, then your right, lower. Feel free to hover if you'd like to increase that intensity. Just remember we're keeping that left ankle stacked under our left knee. Deep breaths in. Slow and in control. Pushing up. Still using our breath. Coming down straight into those pulses for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Stepping all the way up. Coming into standing. Pushing into that block with your palms. Deep breath in. Exhale, forward fold. Keeping that block underneath of us for more back support. Feel free to bend out those knees. We're going to go back into those forward fold arm lifts, lifting up your left arm, bending that right knee. Reaching, looking for length through your fingertips. Exhale, lowering down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Looking to increase that mobility. Finding a deeper range with every lift. For one more. This time as you lower, you're going to step back with your right foot now. Coming into that half moon pose, feel free to come into that pyramid pose if this feels easier to you, or coming down all the way and lifting. Bending that knee will increase the intensity for your stability. But if you stay in pyramid, placing that block on the inside, this may be more accommodating for you. Remembering to breathe. One more deep breath in. Exhale, we're going to bend that knee, coming all the way down, planting both hands on the ground. Exhale, stepping back with that left foot, coming into a high plank. Slowly lowering down, coming all the way into a vinyasa, pushing up, upward facing dog. Or coming all the way down, finding that baby cobra. One more deep breath in. Exhale, pushing back, finding child's pose. Feel free to roll out your wrists here. Take those little side bends. For one deep breath in. Exhale, pushing up, finding a tabletop position. If you thought we escaped the bird dogs, you were wrong. Feel free to put one block under your hand, one block under your right leg. this is difficult for you, feel free to just do this on the ground as well. We're gonna reach both right arm out, kick left foot back, pointing those toes, looking for length through your fingertips. Exhale, coming all the way down, finding that crunch, squeezing those abdominals. Inhale, looking for length. Exhale, coming into that crunch. Inhale, length. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, length. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, length. Exhale, crunch. For 2 more. Last one, really looking for length through those fingertips. Squeezing your abdominals, coming into that crunch. Exhale, lowering all the way down. Feel free to tilt that block in front of you. If you used one, you're gonna go into our Pilates push-ups combined with that leg arc. So lowering down, inhale, exhale, pushing up, and arcing that leg, bringing it back up. Inhale, lower. Exhale, push up. Arcing that leg, still staying strong through that core, engaging your left glute. Only 2 more. Last one. Exhale, pushing it all the way back up, lowering that leg down. Feel free to kick that block out and push back into a well-deserved child's pose. Rocking side to side if that feels comfortable. Letting your wrists take a break. For 1 more deep breath in. Exhale, coming all the way back up into tabletop. We're going to do the same thing for the other side now. Feel free to put that block under your left knee, block under right hand, or not using a block at all. Kicking that right leg out, lifting that left hand forward, looking for length through fingertips and toes. Exhale, pinching your abs together, elbow to knee. Inhale, lift, should be a straight line from the tips of your fingers to the tips of your toes. Pushing through the heel of your right palm, keeping a slight bend in that elbow. Squeezing your core. Remembering to breathe, taking breaks as needed. For 1 more, squeezing those glutes. Lift, really squeezing here. Exhale, lower, tilting that block in front of you. 1 more round of our little push-up series. Lifting that right leg up. Inhale, lower. Exhale, push up. And arc that leg. Inhale, lower. Exhale, push up. Using that right glute, arcing that leg. Inhale, lower. Arcing that leg. For 1 more. Last time. Lowering all the way back down to the ground. Feel free to throw that block out of the way, as long as it's not at me. Come all the way back down into a child's pose. Taking a deep breath here. Looks like we have a little bit of time left. So I know everybody wanted to do a core series. We're going to exhale, coming back up into that tabletop position. Crossing those legs behind us, we're going to come into a seated position. Feel free to kick those legs out. We're going to come all the way into a boat pose. Putting the block between our knees. Squeezing them together, lifting those legs. Feel free to set those hands behind you if this is difficult, or coming all the way up, lifting that chest, keeping that core tight, and fluttering our hands in front of us. About 30 seconds. Remembering to breathe, squeezing with your legs. Ten more seconds. Still breathing. Feel free to touch your feet if you need. Almost done. Exhale, lowering all the way down. Still keeping that block between your legs, though. Need it for our next core session. Planting those heels directly behind your glutes. We're going to do a little glute bridge series. Taking one deep breath in, making sure your back, your entire lower back, is touching the ground, tilting your pelvis up and in. Exhale, you're going to push through the heels of your feet, squeezing your glutes together, moving all the way into a glute bridge. Still squeezing that block between your knees. Remembering to breathe. Holding here for another 15 seconds. Five more seconds. You got it. Exhale, lowering all the way down. Lifting your legs, grabbing that block. Lifting it overhead. Feel free to lower that left leg down. Still wanting to keep our lower back touching the entire ground. As you exhale, you're going to maneuver the block to your right hand. Swing it around your right leg. Grab onto it again. And bend your left. I know it's kind of confusing. So if you need to take a few turns just watching, feel free. This is all about core. Using your breath. Exhale as you change your legs. Still remembering to breathe. For one more. Last one. Keeping that block lifted over your head. Feel free to let your legs lower. Coming into just a laying down Shavasana. Feel free to wiggle those feet, giving your core a nice break. Taking those breaths as needed. We're going to end with one more core exercise, bringing those knees back up. Pushing the block into your left leg with your right hand. You're going to kick your right foot out, kicking that left hand back, and doing an opposite side crunch. Still pushing into the top of your left leg. Squeezing through your core, making sure the entire lower back is touching the ground for two more. Last one. Lowering that right leg down, switching the block to the other side. Kick that left leg out, right arm back. One more series of crunches. Slow and in control, squeezing your core. For three more. 2, And 1. Lowering that leg all the way down. We're going to put the block under our lower back, giving ourselves a passive back extension. Taking those breaths. As you start to get a hold of your breathing, feel free to move that block up to your upper back, sending those arms directly out above you. Option to increase the intensity here. If you want to flip that block all the way onto its side, remembering to breathe. And we'll hold here for another 20 seconds. Looking for a nice stretch through your upper thoracic area. Exhale, moving that block completely out of the way. We're going to lower down to our back, kicking that right foot up, hooking it over top of our left, grabbing onto that left hamstring or left shin, gently pulling that leg closer to you, rocking side to side if that feels comfortable. Should be feeling a nice stretch through your right hip, right hamstring. Deep breath in. And that exhale, we're going to send our hands to either side of our body, slowly letting our hips fall to the left. Finding a nice stretch through your back, keeping both shoulders planted on the floor. Exhale, we're going to come back to center, lowering our foot down, kicking our left foot up and over that right leg, outside of your ankle, pressed into the right knee, grabbing onto that right hamstring or right shin, gently rocking side to side. Taking one more deep breath in, go ahead and send your hands to either side of your body, gently letting your hips fall to the right, finding a deep stretch through your lower spine. Taking one more deep breath in, go ahead and come all the way back up to center, unhooking your feet, placing the soles of your feet together. We're going to let our knees fall to the outside, If this is uncomfortable for you, feel free to prop your knees up with both of the blocks and let them rest gently on top of them. Placing one hand on our heart, one hand on our stomach. We're going to meet here for our last few breaths of class today. Taking this time to set your intentions for the rest of today. Exhaling any tension that is built up throughout the day. Feeling the rise and fall of your chest. In for 4. Hold for 4. Out for 4. Hold and repeat. Trying to bring awareness into all 4 corners of your body. Wiggling your fingers. Wiggling your toes. Feeling the back of your head pressed into the mat. So you slowly allow yourself to sink further and further into the floor. It's going to bring us to the end of today's class. Congratulations on making it to week 2. I'm so happy that you all came. But in order for you to come back on Thursday, you do need to take care of yourself. So congratulate yourself for coming, but make sure you're getting at least 7 hours of sleep and drinking enough water, taking care of any muscles that might be sore. If you are sore, please make sure you come back on Thursday, because Thursday we will be doing a good stretch class. And if you didn't get the chance already, please sign in. As always, any and all feedback is greatly appreciated. Thank you all. See you on Thursday.